You know the one. There's a woman in your life, a friend, a coworker, that account you follow at 1 a.m., who somehow has it all together. She looks rested, she hits her deadlines, she eats a whole pizza at midnight and wakes up with better skin than you had at 19. No puffiness, no breakout, just glowing. And a small, ugly part of you wants to be her, and a slightly louder part wants to throw your phone across the room. I get it, because for years I stared at those women and thought, okay, when I finally grow up, I'll be her, the one who has it handled. And I kept asking the same question everyone asks. How does she do it all? How do you stay on top of everything and stay soft and rested and actually happy? Here's what took me way too long to figure out. She isn't doing what the internet told you she's doing. And the version of successful you've been sold at 5 a.m. is a lie. Stay with me, because by the end of this, I'm going to give you the one habit that quietly sits underneath all the others. The thing that makes a woman magnetic without her ever chasing it. But it only lands if we start here. Let me paint you the fantasy first. It's 4:58 a.m. She wakes up before her alarm, of course, because her body is a temple and her cortisol is perfectly regulated. Hi, son. She journals. She writes her morning pages and programs her future. She makes matcha, a cucumber mask, maybe some kind of snail slime serum, protein waffles out of banana and, I don't know, zucchini, light makeup, and off she floats to sip her oat milk something in a linen dress that has never once met a toddler's sticky hand. Now, here's your actual morning. The alarm goes off and you're already behind. The kid is up, the dog threw up in the hallway, you're stepping over it while trying to find one clean sock, answering a work message with your thumb, drinking coffee that went cold 40 minutes ago because cold coffee is simply a fact of your life now. And somewhere in there you think, maybe I just need to wake up earlier. Maybe if I got up at 5. No, you will not get up at 5. Because you didn't go to bed at 9, you went to bed at 12:40 after finally getting a moment of silence, and you were not giving that up. So let's kill the fantasy right here, because it's the thing keeping you stuck. You don't have her mornings. You don't have her matcha or her window or her silence. And that's not a personal failing. That's just your life having a different shape. The whole trick is to stop copying her and start asking a completely different question. What's one small good thing I can do for myself with the life I actually have? That's habit 1, a morning ritual. And before you roll your eyes, I know, everybody says this, but almost nobody says it honestly. Because a ritual is not an hour. You don't have an hour. A ritual is 5 minutes that belong to you and only you before the day grabs the wheel. 5 minutes with a cup of something warm in your cup. Not the chipped one everybody uses, not the communal mug, the pretty one, the one that's yours. Or it's a short walk, or 30 seconds of breathing before your feet hit the floor, or a prayer, or you sit in the car for 2 minutes before you walk into work and you just don't talk to anyone. The point isn't the coffee. The point is that you draw one small line in the day and say, this part is mine, and I decide what happens in it. Because most of us live inside sentences like, I can't. It's just how things are right now. I don't control anything. And when you claim those 5 minutes back, you're not really claiming time. You're claiming the feeling of I run this, at least a little. James Clear calls it in Atomic Habits, small habits aren't small because they change your morning. They're small because of who they slowly tell you you are. That 5 minutes isn't coffee. It's evidence. Okay, second habit, and this one I fought harder than any of them. Time. Or really, energy, because I grew up without a schedule. Nobody in my house planned anything. We just reacted. And the older I got, the more I was responsible for, the more the cracks showed. I owed myself sleep. I was late, which made someone else late, which made me the person who let people down. One wrong domino and the whole line goes. And here's the part nobody says out loud. A stay-at-home mom of 3, a woman on her feet all day, a person managing an illness, and a guy who clocks out at 5 and comes home to a cooked dinner, those people do not have the same 24 hours. They just don't. So when someone tells you Da Vinci had the same 24 hours, you're just lazy, you have my full permission to stop listening. The real question isn't how do I do more, it's what do I do first? You open your calendar and there are 20 things on it. 20. So you pick 3. Just 3 that actually matter today, and you protect them. You give your brain a finish line it can reach. 3 set, 3 done, we're good. Cal Newport, who wrote Deep Work, has this whole argument that your best work comes from a small number of deep, protected efforts, not from being available for all 20 things at once. The rest? You fit it in the gaps. You answer emails in the taxi. Fine. But you stop ending every single day with, I did 300 of my 500 things, so I just won't sleep and I'll do the other 200. 3. You picked 3, you did 3. That's a win. Let it be a win. You feel that? That little drop in your shoulders? That's the whole point, because the woman you envy, the annoying one, the unicorn, she's not doing more than you. She's carrying less guilt about doing less. She decided what to drop on purpose, and she stopped apologizing for it. And here's the thing I need you to sit with before the next chapter. Everything I just told you, the ritual, the 3 things, none of it is glamorous. Nobody's going to clap for you because you drank your coffee in peace or crossed off 3 items. There's no photo of it, no applause. And that's exactly the point. Because the habits that actually make a woman successful, and yeah, a little magnetic, the kind that makes other people slightly uncomfortable, those are almost never the loud ones. They're the quiet ones nobody sees. So in the next chapter, let's talk about the ones nobody claps for. Starting with the one habit almost every woman I know is skipping. The one that, if you keep ignoring it, sends you the bill later. With interest. Let's start with the bill, because there's a habit almost every woman I know is quietly skipping. And it's the one thing that will absolutely come collecting if you ignore it long enough. Your health. And I already know the reaction, because it was mine too. Health advice is the most boring advice on earth. Drink water, see your doctor, get some sleep. Yeah, Captain Obvious, thank you. Here's the problem. Until somewhere around 30, maybe 35, your body just works. Nothing hurts, nothing catches. You run on 4 hours of sleep and a coffee and you're fine. So you file health under later, a someday problem. And then later shows up. And it does not knock politely. It knocks from underneath. It says, hey, you've been ignoring me for a decade. I'm going to switch off a knee, maybe a kidney. Let's see how you like managing everything now. So here's the reframe. Put your health in the calendar the same way you put in a work meeting. Not if I have time. A slot. Rest and recovery. And those are 2 different things, by the way. Don't let anyone tell you they're the same. Rest you can do with your kids at a lake and come home more tired than you left. That's a trip. Recovery is when you sit or lie down and do genuinely nothing. No friends, no talking, no scrolling. A pocket of silence you schedule on purpose. And into that same calendar goes the appointment you've been avoiding. You know the one. Here's the part I actually want to say slowly, because it matters more than the rest of this video. So many women don't skip the checkup because they're busy. They skip it because they're scared of what might get found. If I don't go, maybe it's nothing. Maybe if I just don't look, it stays fine. And I understand that fear completely. It is one of the most human things there is. But it's also the exact fear that turns a small, catchable thing into a big one. The going early is the whole game. You go so that you hear everything's fine. Or so that whatever it is gets caught while it's still tiny and boring and treatable. That is the best money you will ever spend. Not a bag, not a trip, not the shoes. An hour of feeling awkward in a paper gown. And I mean real health. Not the skin, hair, nails, gummy vitamin version we're sold in pretty bottles. The actual thing. Because the second your health goes, every other item on your list instantly stops mattering. You already know this. So let's not just toast to health. Let's book the appointment. This week. I'll wait. Okay, moving on. Because I promised you the habits nobody claps for. And here's a sneaky one. Learning. But not the way you think. Obviously, learning is good. New skills, new connections in the brain. And yes, every bit of research points the same direction. A mind that keeps learning ages better than one that coasts. Great. Nobody argues with that. But there's a trap hiding inside it, and I fell straight into it for years. I call it the collector's trap. You know how some people can't stop eating past full? There's a version of that with learning. You take the course, and the next course, and the webinar, and the book, and the certification, and you never actually do anything with any of it. You just accumulate. Forever a student. Always enrolling, never arriving. And it feels productive. I'm learning, I'm growing, look at me! But here's the question that pops the balloon. What did you build with it? Because your brain hates an open loop. It genuinely does. Start, continue, finish. That's the only sequence that lets you set something down and move on with a clear head. Skip the finish, and it just becomes another unused gym membership. Another course sitting at 40% complete, quietly nagging you every time you open the app. The women you admire, the experts, the ones who actually lead their field, they're not learning more than you. They're closing loops. They learn a thing and they ship it. They apply it, they teach it, they put it into the world where you can see it. That's the difference between I've studied this and I do this. One is a shelf full of books. The other is a reputation. And you already know which one people trust. Which brings me to the habit I think is the hardest of all of these. Saying no. And it's brutal because everything trained you to say yes. Every movie, every mentor. Stay open, say yes to life, grab every opportunity. And honestly, early on, that's correct. There's a season where you grab everything with both hands, every chance that floats past. And that's how you build. You collect experience, you collect feedback, you survive. Fine, but the grown, grounded, quietly powerful version of a woman shows up the day she can look at all that opportunity and say, no. Not because she's lazy, because she has a life, because she needs to sleep, because she has other plans that aren't work. And sometimes, honestly, because the person asking gives her a bad feeling and she'd rather not. And the first no is terrifying. I'll tell you exactly what happens in your head because it happened in mine. You go to say it and this panic starts. If I say no, they'll never ask again. Word will get out. She turns things down, so clearly she doesn't need it, so let's stop offering. And then you start bargaining with the universe like a maniac. If I refuse this, I'll be punished. The well will dry up. And you get so scared that you say yes to everything. And you row twice as hard, straight into burnout. Here's the tool. When a request or an invitation lands, hold it up and turn it around. What does this actually give me? Money. Great. Real answer. New experience. Wonderful. A door, a person, a resource. Okay, if you can find even one real reason that matters to you, right now, say yes. But if the only reasons you can come up with are, so nobody thinks less of me and so I don't fall out of the loop, that's not a yes. That's fear wearing a calendar. Greg McKeown built an entire book, Essentialism, on exactly this. If it isn't a clear yes, it's a no. Look at what you're trading your one life's hours for and check the exchange rate. If the money you'd earn just goes to the doctor and the pharmacy to fix the exhaustion it caused, that was never a good deal. And here's the last one for this chapter, and it's my favorite because it's so quiet you could miss it. The way she speaks. A confident woman doesn't rush. Not her words, not her voice, not her hands, not her sentences. She isn't scrambling to be liked. And that hurried, overeager speech, yes, of course, come in, so glad, whatever works for you. That's the tell. That's the voice of someone standing slightly below, in the position of the one asking. I learned this from watching someone. Years ago, a woman came to interview to help care for my daughter, and I was the frazzled version of myself. Messy bun, 3 hours of sleep, running on fumes. And in walks this calm, composed woman, and she says, unhurried, "Hello, I'm here for the position." And I thought, oh, she weighed every word. She wasn't performing, she wasn't filling silence, she wasn't rushing to please me. And in about 9 seconds, my sense of her level, her competence, went straight up. Not because of her resume, because of her pace. That's not about status. It's not be humble to the boss, be grand to everyone else. It's an internal setting. She said it quietly, and she meant it. And she let the silence sit, and the silence did the work. So add it up. Guard your health. Finish what you start. Say a clean no. Speak like you're not afraid of the pause. None of it flashy, none of it applauded, and all of it building toward one thing. The thing I've been promising you since the start. How a woman becomes magnetic without ever once chasing it. The kind of pull that makes a room turn slightly toward her, and nobody can quite explain why. In the next chapter, we get there. Money you're not afraid of. The way you talk about yourself, the circle around you, and then the single habit that sits underneath all 9 of these. Plus, the one personal rule I've honestly never said out loud until now. That one's yours to keep. Let's talk about money. And I want to be careful here, because this is the one that makes women flinch the fastest. It feels lovely to live by, my money is my money, and his money is our money. Honestly, no notes. Enjoy. But whether you earn a lot or a little, knowing exactly what's happening with your money is one of the quietest forms of power there is, because it hands you back that same feeling we keep circling in this video. I'm the one steering. And here's the thing. It's not about the amount. Maybe you can't put away anything big right now. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you stop being afraid of money, because most of us live in earn it, spend it, because who knows about tomorrow? And that has a name. You remember the marshmallow experiment? A researcher named Walter Mischel sat little kids down with one marshmallow and said, if you wait 15 minutes and don't eat it, you get a second one. And a lot of kids ate it immediately. Of course they did. A bird in the hand. But here's the part that actually matters. The part people forget. When they followed up years later, a lot of the kids who grabbed the marshmallow right away came from homes where money was tight, or where grown-ups made promises and didn't keep them. So the kid had learned, correctly, take the good thing now because later is not guaranteed. That wasn't a character flaw. That was a smart response to an unreliable world. And maybe that was your world too. But, and this is the whole point, you are the grown-up now. You get to rewrite that program. Not because a book told you to, because you decided to. And it shows up everywhere, in ways you'd never connect to a marshmallow. It shows up when you negotiate your salary, when you quote a client, when someone asks, any chance you could go lower? And the old you says, oh, yeah, sure, of course, for you. Try this instead. I'm happy to lower the price. Which part of the work would you like me to remove? And they blink. Sorry? Well, you're paying me less. So which part don't I do? It's a little audacious. It's unexpected. And it works, because it says you know exactly what your time is worth, which is the perfect bridge to the next habit, because it's the same muscle, talking about yourself without shrinking. Watch what you do the next time someone compliments you. You look amazing today. Oh, stop, it's nothing. What a beautiful dress. Oh, this? It's ancient. I dug it out of the closet. And listen, I didn't ask how old the dress is. I don't care about the dress. I said you look beautiful. Just take it. Just say thank you. That tiny reflex gives you away completely. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The way you treat yourself quietly teaches everyone else how they're allowed to treat you. If it's fine for you to dismiss yourself, to shrink yourself, to laugh yourself off, then it's fine for them too. And then months later, we're baffled. Why don't they take me seriously? Why don't they value me? Well, do you? And women fall into this trap so much harder than men, and we all know it. A man does a piece of work and says, yeah, I ran that, crushed it. A woman does the exact same job and says, oh, I just help out a little, nothing special. You're not in marketing. You run the marketing department for an entire division. Say that. Brené Brown, who spent her whole career studying this in Daring Greatly, kept finding the same thing. The fear of sounding like too much keeps capable people small and quiet. So if you can measure your results, if you have the reviews, the case studies, the wins, put them somewhere you can see them. Every day. Give your brain the evidence, because your brain desperately needs the evidence. Otherwise, you spend your whole life half a step behind, apologizing for taking up space. And the worst part? The words you use about yourself become the exact words other people use about you later. Her? Oh, she does some marketing thing, I think. Is that really how you want the story told? Okay, second to last. the people around you. I'm not going to get mystical about sisterhood and soul bonds. I'll be practical. It is genuinely, measurably important to find a woman a few steps ahead of you. A friend, a mentor, a sister, sometimes a mother figure. Someone for whom the thing you want has already worked. Because that's just how growth moves. You want a strong marriage? You spend time around people with strong marriages. You want a body you feel good in? You go stand near someone who built one. You go to get pollinated by it. Carol Dweck's whole body of work and mindset comes down to this. We become the possibilities we're standing next to. And we badly need this, because women don't really have a ready-made model to copy. We look at men and try to work the way they work, forgetting that our physiology is different. Our lives are different. Most of us are carrying a family and children in the background at the same time. And on top of all of it, we'd also like to feel beautiful and rested. So the model isn't there. It's usually one of two women. The one who gave everything to her career, and we don't want that. Or the one who dissolved completely into motherhood, and we don't want that either. We're reaching for a third thing that nobody drew for us, so we have to build the circle ourselves. A little coalition of people who are simply for you. My therapist has a line I think about constantly. She says, I look at you well. You failed, I look at you well. You're a mess, you're crying, I look at you well. It's working, it's not working, I look at you well. Meaning, I see the whole of you, completely separate from whether you're winning today. Find the people who look at you well, the ones who won't be jealous, who'll cheer instead of flinch. But, and here's the catch, for those people to find you, you have to be findable. You have to be visible. So go to the thing. Join the group. Introduce yourself. It does not fall out of the sky. All right, you made it to the end, which tells me you're one of the serious ones. So here's what I owe you. The single habit underneath all 9, and then my own personal rule. Go back through everything. The 5 quiet minutes that are yours, the 3 things instead of the 20, the appointment you stopped avoiding, the clean number, the unhurried voice, the money you looked in the eye, taking the compliment, the circle who looks at you well. Notice what every single one has in common. Not one of them is about being more. Every one of them is you, treating yourself like a person you actually love, not a machine you run until it breaks, not a washing machine that just keeps going. A person. That's the whole thing. That's the habit under the habits. She sees a human being when she looks at herself, and she takes care of her. And here's the magnetic part nobody tells you. You don't chase magnetic. Magnetic is just what it looks like from the outside. When a woman has quietly decided she's worth taking care of, people feel it before they can name it. That's the pull. And the 10th is mine, and I've never actually said it out loud. Mine is that I believe in people. I know rationally that not everyone is good. I know that, but it matters enormously to me to keep my radar tuned to the good ones. To trust first and verify after. My husband is the opposite. He'd rather assume the worst and be pleasantly surprised. And I understand it, but I don't want to run every person I meet through a filter of suspicion. I'm not naive. I don't wear rose-colored glasses. I just decide to hope people are good. And more than anything else, I think that hope is what carried me to where I am. So here's your homework. And it's the only assignment that matters. Your 10th rule isn't mine to give you. It's yours. So think about it. If you don't have one yet, write it, and then tell me what it is. Because that one, the one only you can name, is the real reason someone, someday, is going to look at you and quietly wonder how you do it all. I'll see ya.